Hi, I'm really glad you're here today. Today, I want to talk about sadness and depression and how we all kind of go there from time to time. And I want to tell you exactly how to get out of it relatively quickly. And I learned this years and years ago from Wayne Dyer, who told a story about a study they did at UC Berkeley. And they did a study where they gathered as many students as they could and asked them if they were feeling sad or depressed. And these students would then tell them, they asked them questions and they said, how depressed do you feel? So if a student described themselves as being depressed, it wasn't like they were clinically, they went to a therapist and they were clinically diagnosed with depression. They just felt in their own awareness that they felt depressed. And then they would ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, how depressed do you feel? And then they did an experiment. So once they signed up all these students, they had them come to an office in the psychology department and they had them sit in a chair. So they were sitting up and smile for 20 minutes straight. And that's all they had them do. And then they would ask them questions. How do you feel now? And write down the results. And this was turned out to be a very powerful experiment. So all we need to do, when I get there myself, when I'm really sad or, I'm tired and my brain only wants to think about negative or not gonna happen type ideas in my head, I use this process. All I do is sit in a chair, I close my eyes, and I smile. I don't have to think about anything specific. I don't have to do anything specific except smile. That's it. And as I do that, I notice during that 20-minute time period that I actually start thinking about positive things. And what's going on in the brain is that we are hardwired. We somehow create patterns in our brain. It's an actual neural pathway that we create inside our brain that says, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened, fire that. And it takes us to sadness or ideas that don't make us happy. And as we continue to practice that pattern, those pathways get stronger and stronger. But by doing this 20-minute process where you're just sitting and smiling, you're interrupting the pattern. So you start out feeling sad or depressed, and your brain doesn't get to go where it wanted to go because you're smiling, and it doesn't know what to do when you're smiling. It doesn't take you to the same place. So as you interrupt that pattern, that neuro connection, that neuro pathway dissolves. It gets weaker and weaker and weaker, and then eventually just dissolves. And so that's what was happening with these students at UC Berkeley. And that's what can happen for you. It definitely happens for me. Whenever I get to a place where I'm that sad or that tired, I really have to sit and do that. And I don't know if you have to do it for 20 minutes. I've done it for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and it still seems to work. I can't think about things that are negative while I'm sitting there smiling. My brain just won't go there. And towards the end of the 15 minutes, I start to think about things that made me feel good. And I don't know 100% why that happens, but I'm happy to work along with my brain to make me feel happier and get out of sadness or depression. So if you're having feelings like this, give it a shot. It's super easy to do. And as you do it, you'll move into a much happier, more lightened place. And you'll start to see the world in a better way. So if you have any questions, throw them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. If you have experiences with this, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what you have to say about it. And as you practice it, just realize that It worked for about 100 students at UC Berkeley back, I want to say, in the 90s. So, yeah, if you like these kind of videos, click the subscribe button so you can get more of these videos in your feed. And until the next video, have a great day.